Welcome back. We're looking at the notes for 1.3, manipulating literal equations. Basically, everything in this section is going to be solving for a letter when all you have are letters. There's going to be no numbers. So what I'd like you to do is take just a second, pause the video, and if you would, write what you see. When you're done, go ahead and start it back and we'll get started. All right, so here's the first question. What if we have to solve for x, but there's no numbers? What we did before is we would say, oh, right here, I need to cancel the 2. So I'm subtracting 2 from both sides. 5 minus 2 gives me 3, no problem. But what if you did not know 5 minus 2? What if they weren't letters? What if it was like s minus 2 or x minus y? There's nothing that we can do to simplify that. All we could do is cancel out our doubles and write what you see. So those are going to be the steps you hear me say over and over. Okay, cancel the doubles, write what you see. The solving aspect's going to be the same. Let's go ahead and look at this first problem. All right, in this case, the 2 and the s are very much the same thing. They're both being added to the variable we want. We want to get x alone. So in the same idea, I still subtract on both equations. Just like I subtracted 2 on both sides, I'm going to subtract s on both sides of my equal sign. So what I do to one side, I do to the other. I'm still going to cancel out the doubles, but now I don't know what p minus s is. So what I'm going to do is read it out loud, p minus s, and I'm going to write what I see. P minus s equals x. That's all I have left. This right here is what answers will look like today. Okay? You're rearranging, you're manipulating. Literal equations, meaning there's no numbers. Okay? Let's try this next one. Okay? Same idea. Our letter B here is the same as our 5 was. He's multiplying with our x. Well, how do we get rid of multiplication? We divide. We're going to still divide on both of these. Divide by B. What I do to one side, I do to the other. But when the 5s and the b's cancel, I was able to simplify on this side, right? 20 divided by 5 is 4. I can't do the same thing on this other side. A divided by B. I don't know what that is. It is not a number. So all I do is I write what I see. A divided by B equals x is left over. I canceled the double b's and I write what I see. That problem is done. Right? It's almost easier because you don't have to type anything in a calculator. You just write it down. Okay? Let's put in 2 steps. Okay? We have a loner. If we're trying to get x by itself, our loner is the r right here. So same way that we canceled off a 1, we're going to cancel off the r. Subtract r from both sides. I'm going to cancel the doubles and write down what I see. We're not going to write m minus r though. Yes, that's what you see, but that's not how you would read it. We would read it m minus r. So I'm going to write it in a line because that's how we write subtraction in an equation. M minus r equals px. The r's are gone. Okay? Now, if I'm trying to get x by itself, that means I got to get rid of this p, right? That p is multiplying, so I would divide. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other, but I can't just pick one guy to divide by p. I have to divide the whole thing by p. Okay, that whole side of the equation has to get divided. Same rule as before. I'm going to cancel out my doubles, and I write what I see. M minus r divided by p equals x. That's going to be a final answer today. Okay. If you need a second to pause that, copy it down, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, we're moving on to the questions and the examples. All right, let's start with problem 1. I'm trying to solve for w, so we got to get w by itself. Who at the party is the loner? Well, P wasn't invited, and 2 is stuck to w, so these guys are best friends, right? Which means the only loner I've got is this guy, 2L. How would I cancel 2L if he's a positive number? Well, I would need to subtract him. Minus 2L. And what I do to one side, I have to do on the other side of the equation. Minus 2L. It's okay to be moving the number and the letter at the same time. That's perfectly fine. So we're going to cancel the doubles and then see what we have. P minus 2L. We don't want to write it like this. We want to write it in a straight line. So P minus 2L equals, bring down your 2W. Okay. Now again, we're still trying to get W by itself. How would I get rid of the 2? Well, it's multiplying, so I divide. What I do to one side, I do to the whole other side of the equation. We're going to cancel our doubles. I'm going to make a note, don't cancel on both sides. Okay, you're only moving that 2 to the other side. You're canceling him off, but you cannot cancel these guys. Okay, they stay there. So I'm going to write what I see. I see P minus 2L divided by 2 equals plain W. This is my answer. Okay. If you need to listen to that again, feel free to always pause, rewind, and go back, but we're moving on. Problem 2. We're trying to get B by itself, so let's see who's at the party. Y and B are stuck together. That's the best friend. C isn't on the same side, so he's not at the party. That means AX right here, that guy's got to move. Well, how do I move something to the other side? I cancel it off. If AX needs to cancel, he's a positive. I'm going to subtract him off, minus AX. What I do to one side, I need to do to the other. I'm always going to cancel the doubles and write what I see. BY equals, we are not going to write C minus AX vertical like this. We're going to write it in a line, C minus AX. Okay. Next step, we're still trying to get B by itself, so that means we need to cancel the Y. B and Y are multiplying, so we're going to divide by Y on both sides. Make sure you're dividing all the way across right here. Okay. We're going to cancel the doubles like we've been doing. We have a B by itself, C minus AX, all divided by Y. That whole piece gets brought down. And we're done with number 2. Okay. All right, 1 and 2 are right there. If you need to pause for it, we're moving to the back. All right, number 3, this is the first time you've seen exponents. So if we go back and we think about PEMDAS, remember that A and S go together. That's adding and subtracting. Multiplying and dividing go together. E is its own thing. P is its own thing. Parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, add or subtract. Okay, that's PEMDAS. That's order of operations. Solving goes backwards, right? All right, so if I look at X, and I'm trying to get that by itself, order of operations would go exponents, that's the squared, and then multiply by B. That's the order of operations. If we are going to solve it, we're going to go backwards. So I need to get rid of this B first, this multiplying guy first. How would I do that? Well, I would divide by B. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. Cancel the doubles and write exactly what you have. A divided by B equals X squared. Okay, we got rid of multiplication. Now we're ready to get rid of this exponent here because we want to get the X by itself. Okay. Does anybody know what the opposite of squaring is? I'm going to make a different note in a different color. Okay, let me shrink this just a little bit. Okay, whenever you need to cancel out a squared, you're going to use a square root to cancel out a square. Okay, so if I need to cancel out that squared, that means I'm going to square root it. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. We're going to make a big square root because it needs to go around the whole thing. Okay, we said they cancel, so what we're going to do is cancel out the doubles. Sorry, you're canceling out the squared and the square root at the same time. Our final answer is going to look like the square root of A divided by B, oops, lowercase b, sorry, equals my x. That right there is a final answer. You will have one like this on your quiz. Okay. Let's go number 4. Number 4. All right, so we have parentheses. Most of us are pretty comfortable in knowing that we're going to have to distribute this, so let's start there. All right, w equals 2a plus 12. If you need help on that part, remember you can go back and look at 1.1 notes video. But we are solving for a, which means at the party we need to get rid of our loner. Our loner is going to be 12, which means I am canceling off 12 by subtracting it from both sides. And while you may be excited that we have numbers, we cannot do anything with w minus 12. So all we can do is cancel the doubles, write what we see. W minus 12 equals 2a. We are almost done. If we're trying to get that a by itself, who is left to get rid of? That would be our 2, and that 2 is multiplying. We know that. So we're going to divide. If I divide by 2 on one side, I have to divide by 2 on the other side. We are not simplifying anything right here. All you can do is cancel the doubles and write what you see. W minus 12 divided by 2 equals a, and we are all done with that problem. Okay. All right, you might notice I am going a little quicker. If you need a slower explanation, tutorials might be a good option. I'm here before and after school. Let's go ahead and look at number 5. Number 5, pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. We're looking to get y by itself. So on the side with y, who's the loner? That would be this w. How are we going to cancel him out? Well, he's a positive, so we're going to subtract him. Minus w minus w. Rules we've been doing are cancel out the doubles. Write what you see. So a minus w equals w, y, and z. Now, in this problem, all 3 of those guys are multiplying together, w times y times x. When you are getting rid of numbers the same way, you can actually get rid of more than one at a time. So if I was just trying to get rid of the w, I could divide by w on both sides. But since I need to get rid of w and z, I'm going to go ahead and divide by both at the same time, using the same division bar, okay? I'm going to cancel out my doubles. Notice my w's are gone, my z's are gone. All I have left is my y. But on the left side, I have a lot of things to write down. A minus w, I see that. Divided by wz, I see that. Remember your note. You cannot cancel on both sides. Sorry, that doesn't look like an S. Both sides. Do not cancel these w's. Okay, leave them alone. This is your final answer. Problem number 6. All right, we did some of these in 1.1, and I know you saw them on the test, but we haven't done any in these notes in a little while, okay? If I'm trying to get m by itself, hopefully you recognize that at this party, m and b are kind of grouped together. Who's the loner at the party? That's the a. What is a doing with this little fraction bar? He's dividing. So if he's dividing, I need to cancel him out with multiplication. Remember that we do not write it like this. We write a multiplication dot on both sides, and we write our a, or anything that we're multiplying by, off to the side. Okay? So what I do on one side, I do to the other. We're going to cancel the doubles and write down exactly what you see. A times L equals m minus b. Now, do we need the fraction bar here anymore? No, because I'm not dividing anymore. Okay, it would be like just kind of leaving one of these out to the side. I don't need it, I don't need to write it. Okay, one more step. We're trying to cancel off the b now because we're getting m by himself. So that means we need to add b on both sides. Notice that b is adding with the whole top row. So I have to read it and then write exactly what I say. A times L plus B equals M, because I canceled off my doubles. This is my full answer. Okay? All right, the bottom two I'm kind of going to show you at the same time. Will you do me a favor? Make yourself a little notes cloud. And this is what we're going to put in our cloud. When you have double fractions, we are going to cross multiply. Whenever you see double fractions, we're going to cross multiply. Okay, so here's how we do that. We're going to leave our equal sign right in the middle. And we're going to multiply diagonal. I'm going to use some highlighting to show you what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to multiply these guys together. C times B. Remember that you could put B times C and that's the same thing, right? Okay, let me change colors. I'm going to do the same thing this way. So A times D on the other side. Okay. Let's try that on number 8. If I go ahead with pink first, I'm going to cross multiply one direction, keep the equal in the middle. How would you write that? A2? Most of the time we put the number first, otherwise it sounds like bingo. So we're going to say 2A, or 2 times A. It's the same thing. Okay. If we go the other direction, MFX. You can write it as M times F times X, or you can just put MFX. It's the same thing. MFX. All right, so going back to problem 7, we were trying to get D by itself, right? If I want D by itself, who do I need to get rid of? The A, right? I need to divide by A on both sides. We're going to cancel off the doubles. Write exactly what you see. C times B divided by A equals D. Couple notes. Let me change colors so you can see it. Remember that if you put CB over A, that's the same thing. You don't need the dot. If you have them switched, BC over A equals D. Those are all the same thing, okay? All of those are good. Let's look at 8. 8, we're trying to get the X by itself, which means I need to get rid of 2 different numbers. I need to get rid of, letters. I need to get rid of the M and the F. When I divide on one side, I have to divide on the other. We're going to go ahead and cancel both of those. Write exactly what you see. So 2A over MF equals X. Okay. That is going to be your final answer. If you have any questions, please come see me or go back and watch part of the video. You are set to go ahead and work on the practice for 1.3.